Welcome to this edition of Mango Spaces. Really happy to have you today to just discuss a little bit about life assurance through Absa Life. So get to understand their journey. Karibu sana.
Thanks so much for this session to Boga na CEO.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Thanks a lot and welcome to everyone who have joined. So I'll start by introducing the company I represent. I represent Absa Life Assurance Kenya. We believe that financial security should be within the reach of every Kenyan. We started our journey in Kenya in 2015 as part of the Absa Group Limited, as being one of the Africa leading financial institutions. So the approach we took when we came to Kenya is a different one from what has been there previously. We came and adopted the bank assurance model, which means that we integrated insurance with the everyday banking. And over the last 10 years, this is our 10th year, which will be celebrating our 10th year anniversary, we have grown from the bottom in the market to being a leader in the Kenyan life assurance space, where we have achieved quite a lot. We have been number one in the last few years. And also within life individual policies, we have also grown to actually also become among the top 10 underwriters in Kenyan market. So my name is Gidaji Waiguru. I'm the Managing Director of Absa Life Assurance Kenya, the role I took from 2020. Thanks.
Maybe a little bit about yourself. What were you doing before Absa Life?
I started with the financial service industry in 2008. I was based for about 15 years in Botswana, where I worked with various companies there from the mining, and then moved to Standard Bank Group. We started with a company called Stanbic Investment in Botswana, and then we set up a company called Liberty Life Botswana, where I was a COO and a CFO. And then in 2013, I joined Absa Group in South Africa, with my first work being in Botswana. And then 2014, I relocated to Kenya to start this business, the COO. So I've been in this space from 2008 in the financial service industry.
You seem like you've traveled a lot around Africa. What are some of like your observations in terms of maybe assurance and assurance around the African region as a whole? Any observations that you've made there?
Yes, so a bit of cultural issues that affect the product design and the product that are offered for insurance in different markets. If you look at a country like Botswana with a small population, the product that usually people buy there is more the funeral product. If you go to also the country like Namibia, funeral product is also, and also in South Africa. When you come now to the country like Kenya, you find that when you talk about the funeral product, it's more a cultural issue. People don't want to talk about the funeral, but they want to have an insurance product, probably looking at the risk and investment. That means they want something they can be able to enjoy before they get to those other things that probably people feel that the insurance is only for paying off the funeral. So in Kenya, you find that the different proposition in terms of the product is required for you to penetrate the Kenyan market and probably the East African market.
How do you approach such a market then where people are a bit reluctant to discuss that?
It's a combination of needs with the clients and the market. As I mentioned, I'll give an example. In Namibia, I was just discussing with someone, when you distribute a funeral product, for them, what you add to make it more attractive to have things like the riders and all that. And what happens in that country, for example, we had a company like Liberty Life, where in our product, we decided that we shall include a cow, that's a cattle, that when someone has passed, then the family is given, or the insurance company gives a benefit to buying a cow that is slaughtered as a day one, because that's what they believe in. So those kind of products, you come up with the rider, or you come with the item that connect with the people or the citizen of that country. Coming to Kenya, we look at more of the investments in terms of the product that we have. So you find here products like education, endowment products. They do very well. Of course, you can have other riders or other benefits that you can incorporate within that product. And of course, when you look at different markets as well, as I mentioned, if you go to West Africa, countries like Ghana, Nigeria, where sometimes they take a lot of time before they can bury their relatives and all those kind of things, they also look at some of these heavy kind of insurance products that can be able to cater for some of those costs that are related to some of those cultural issues that practice there. The product design has to resonate with the values and the cultural aspect of that country.
It's a very important learning there. So perhaps you can tell us a bit about maybe the journey of Absa Life. I know you said it a little bit earlier. You can reiterate how the journey has been the last 10 years in terms of penetration in the Kenyan market. How's it been for you as a company?
And as I mentioned earlier on, is that when we started the business in Kenya, we started as Barclays Life Assurance Kenya. That's how we were known. And we took a different approach where we adopted that bank assurance model. The bank assurance model, what it does is that it gives an insurance company an opportunity to go for the low-hanging fruit. You partner with the bank, and therefore you have got already an existing customer base where you can be able now to start distributing your product. And you start with some of the simple products. I would call them more what we call embedded products. These are the products that are given by the bank because you are taking maybe a facility with the bank. For example, if someone is taking a loan facility, the bank usually requires that you have what we call credit life. The other product that the bank may wish to give to the customers, which are usually called embedded product. It can be any product, either even a general insurance product like medical or personal accident. And then we come in, we can offer those like last expense. That's what we call it in Kenya. But that is embedded. So you open an account, let's say, for example, a saving account, and then you'll be told with your saving account comes an insurance product that is embedded to that. So with that, it gives an insurance company an opportunity now to be able to, first of all, get those low-hanging fruits and also be able to get a bit of a feasibility and a market to start the business. And that's the advantage we had. And then, of course, we had our own products that we came up with. In Kenya, we started with the education product. We also had the last expense product, that's a funeral expense. And we also had a personal accident. But what we realized is that as we started talking to the customers within the bank space, we got more customers inclined to education, given that education in Kenya is quite expensive. And most of the parents or most of the customers were looking for the education product. So it became a flagship product and we did very well. And then later on, we also ventured into the corporate. This is where the companies take insurance for their staff. And this is where we have got the group list, mostly catering for things like the WIBA Plus, group life benefits, and the other employee benefit that the corporates in Kenya offer. And we also did very well. As I said, from the year 2020, we were ranked number one amongst all the life underwriters in Kenya. And we held that position for about 3 years until 2023, when we moved to position number 2. That means we are still among the top corporate life underwriters in Kenya. On the retail side, we also saw a very good growth in the last, I would say, when COVID came, that's when we saw a very big growth in terms of our product, especially on the individual policies. So education policies, they started picking up very well. And I think this is because of how COVID came. When it started, and people who got COVID during the initial stages, they were being taken from homes, they are taken to hospital, and then if someone happened to pass on during that time, the family were not given the time to even to go and have a view of the body and all those kind of things. And that, I think, created an awareness in terms of people wanting to have life insurance product. People are like, okay, if it happens to me, how would my family survive if I'm the breadwinner and all that? And during that time, during COVID, we started seeing actually a double-digit growth in terms of our retail products, that's individual products. We have been working with our customers, trying to understand what their needs, how do they like us to improve on our products and all that. And in the year 2022, we launched a product called endowment product, endowment plan. And this was a feedback that we got from our customers. Most of them, they were happy with our education product. But for those who do not have school-going kids or children, then they were saying, okay, I like your product, but since I do not have a child, can I have a similar product where I do not have to declare maybe a child, a beneficiary, or all that kind of thing? And we came up with that endowment, which is more of a replica of education, and it offers actually more benefit because we had to look at what are the customers looking at. So we now have, let me say, 2 good products that are really doing very in Kenya. That's endowment and education. We also have other products. I'll just mention last expense. We have got one of the best last expense. Although it was offered to individual, we have now seen that in Kenya, through Chamas, through schools, alumni, through other groups, they are now taking that product for the group. So we are now starting to see a bit of growth in terms of, we are calling it more of a broader group last expense, which is looking at like a Chama. And nowadays we have Chamas being registered. So they are able to pay, which caters for the Chama members and their parents and their maybe parents-in-laws, and maybe some of them extended to other siblings within those family members within that Chama. So that's another area which we have also listened to a customer, looking at the product we had, which was last expense, and then looking at it that is not doing very well. And then we had to come back after getting the feedback from a customer and developed that. We have personal accident, which is a more of a life product being offered by a life insurance company. What happens in Kenya, if, for example, if someone is a driver and you have got your car insurance, that car insurance only caters for the passengers in that car. It doesn't cater for the driver of that car. And therefore, we were trying to create an awareness for the drivers actually to get that personal accident cover for themselves. Then we came up with another product. It's called Ultimate Protector. Ultimate Protector is more of a whole life product. It's a very good product. It caters for the whole life or the entire life of an individual. The advantage of this product is that it has got very good benefits. It's a product we are trying out to market in Kenya. One of the advantages is that when someone takes this product and they get to the age of 65, we waive the premium for the rest of their life. So that means they do not pay premium anymore, but they remain covered until either and something happens in terms of the death, of which the benefits are paid to the dependent, or maybe during an accident, become disabled, and then we are able to pay those disability covers for that. So it's a very good product, especially if someone is trying to look at a product where they have got a life cover, which they can leave to the dependent, and they do not want to pay premiums until they are old. That's one of the products that we're encouraging our customers to actually go for. So those are the products, and that's been our journey. I would say that we have done very well as a business, and we are seeing growth year on year. Our combined average growth rate has been about 35% for the last 5 years, which is quite a big growth for a business that started about 10 years ago.
Maybe a curious question. What's the relationship between Absa Life and Absa Group and Absa Kenya, if I may ask there?
I know that's been a big question that most of the people ask us in the market. So Absa Bank Kenya and Absa Life Assurance, we are sister companies, and we are both owned by Absa Group South Africa. What that means is that the Absa Bank Kenya does not have shareholding in Absa Life. Neither does Absa Life own any shares within Absa Bank. So we are two sister companies, and the way this came about is Absa was one of the best, I would say, full financial service in Africa, where they had insurance, short-term, life, asset management. They also had other services that they had, like fiduciary services and all that in South Africa. So we wanted to have the same model being replicated in other countries, and the life assurance businesses were opened in Botswana, Zambia, Mozambique, and then Kenya. And in Kenya, we also have another sister company called Fast Assurance. So Fast Assurance, they deal with general insurance. That's motor, property, and all that. And for us, we specialize in life. That's how we are structured. And then the bank is offering the banking services. So we wanted to have that kind of a business setup where if a customer goes to the bank, they're able to get all the services they would think to get from a financial service institution.
Thank you for clarifying that. It's important for people to understand the relationship across the institutions. You've given us a bit of the products which you offer, but then looking at the country generally, the insurance penetration level is quite low as a whole. What are some of the things that you think hold back insurance penetration, especially in Kenya, and perhaps also leveraging your experience from across markets in Africa? You can compare and contrast a little bit and tell us a bit about your experience there and how perhaps you can boost that insurance penetration levels in Kenya.
If you look at the insurance penetration in Kenya, it's now averaging about 3%. And if you take that 3%, it has got both general and life. For life insurance, the penetration is about 1%. So it's very small compared to other markets like South Africa, where the insurance penetration is about 14%. If you look at the countries like Namibia, Botswana, it's 7%, 5%, and all that. So it's quite a big penetration within those markets. What I find in Kenya is that, one, the awareness about the insurance product and what they do, especially on the life side, is very limited. And one of the things that we have tried to do is to create that a bit of awareness where people are now aware of the kind of benefit that are being offered by insurance, especially on the life side. If you contrast with the general insurance and you look at even that 2%, It's because some of the insurance products in Kenya are compulsory. So the car insurance is compulsory. If you go to the company, most of the companies under the WIBA Act, you have to get insurance for the employees. So if you are to remove those compulsory insurance, you'll be left with a very also small percentage. If you look at the medical insurance as well, probably majority of it has been offered through the companies where they pay medical insurance for their employees. Do we have the individuals actually going and looking for this product where they pay for themselves? That's an area where we need to actually look at. And then I'm happy when I look at what's happening in Kenya, especially with the development of microinsurance. It's now something that is starting out to come and going to beyond Nairobi or from urban areas to even the rural areas where people are now looking for those insurance products. I think we have seen it doing very well, especially if you look at general insurance, where we have got now livestock insurance. You got the village people are taking livestock covers and all that. But we'd like to see them also take life insurance covers. But they need to understand what is in there for them. The other thing that is important is they need to understand, okay, how do I benefit from this life insurance cover? How do I claim? When do I get my benefits? So these are the items that if it's taken to the bottom in terms of getting people to be aware of them, I think it will help quite a lot. You find if you look at the other countries, like talk more about the Southern African market, there is a lot of awareness that has been created over time, and just also because of the way they practice their cultural issues there. If you look at the reason why they go for those funeral products is because they believe that someone has to have a dignified funeral when they pass on, and therefore they try to get as many funeral products as possible. You find someone in those countries having more than 5 or 6 different products, but just only for one benefit, that's the funeral. How do they use it? Of course, they will have a decent, let's say, funeral, but also they use it to have a benefit that is left for their dependents. Now, when we come now to Kenya, I think we try to invest a lot in terms of the property and in terms of whatever you save. I do believe that's what, in case of anything happen to an individual, that's what you leave for the dependent. That's what causes a bit of lag in terms of people getting to get this product. And also, I think in terms of the ease of getting that product, I think you find it's very difficult. If you're looking for a life insurance product, it's either you have got a phone, you'll be able to go to Google and try to check which company can give you that. And then you either look for an agent who could come and explain to you what is this being offered by this product. They will help you complete the form. And then you believe you have it, and then you have got a document, but you're not very sure what will happen eventually if anything happens to you. So I think if you're able to educate our citizens in terms of how then can they be able to get the benefit of this product, I think that will really help in terms of ensuring the penetration is actually improving.
That's very true. One thing, is it like insurance companies, especially in Kenya, have been a bit poor in terms of explaining the terms and conditions that come with these contracts to the users in Kenya? Perhaps we could all improve in terms of explaining that. Do you think that can help us?
Definitely can help, but we also look at how do we design the product. I talk mostly from the Absa Life perspective. So when we are doing our product design, we look at 3 principles that guide us in terms of the product that we are designing. One is simplicity. So we would like to have a product that is simple to be understood by everyone or the customer that is buying that product. And the way we do that is we also get our consultant and our salespeople to sit with the customer. They understand their financial need. They take them through that financial analysis. And then we come now to the second principle of affordability. How much can they be able to afford for that kind of particular product that we are giving them? So affordability also becomes a key aspect because life insurance product is more of a saving. So someone has to look at the budget and be able to say, okay, this is how much I can afford, and then I'll go for it. And then the last one is ease of administration. And ease of administration talks now about what you're talking about. You have got the T's and C's and all those kind of things. The people that have sold this product, do they understand where to claim? Do they understand when to claim? Do they understand the process? Do they understand which document to provide? And do they understand how it to be paid? And then on the underwriter side, which is the company side, you have got a system that will be able to analyze that and be able to pay that benefit immediately. Life insurance, we are selling trust, and that's a key component. And the products that are sold by life insurance are more emotional because some of them are paid when someone has passed. So they have got that emotional attachment. How do you then relate to people in terms of that? So I think if you're able to do those kind of things, I think most people will be able to become aware of the product, and then you'll be able actually to buy those products. And let me tell you something that we have done, which we found it very helpful for Absa Life Insurance Kenya. We work with the Absa Bank, which is our sister company, and the Absa Bank has branches all over the country. Now we have established that network with them where our customers can walk into any branch all over the country, be able to lodge a claim. If they are changing the benefit or they want to do, let's say, maintenance or to query, they can walk into that branch and be able to lodge that. And that gives a very wide network. I used to say that probably Absa Life has got the biggest branches all over, looking at the network that we have and the partnership that we have with the Absa Bank. And I think that also helps in terms of reaching out to a lot of people who do not have to either come or travel long distances to get their claims or be able to submit their benefits. Another aspect, a lot of partnership is required where companies in Kenya maybe partner with other institutions, maybe circles and all that kind of thing. And then they are now able to ensure that those products are actually reaching out to the masses and they are also able to spread. And then you make it very easy for the customers, wherever they are, whether they're in Kilifi, they can be able to walk for a short distance and be able to submit a claim. And of course, now we are going to innovation. IT also help. Things like the app. Can the customer be at home and be able to submit a claim, maybe through a phone or something like that? That will also help. So I think these are some of the things that I would say will help. And I've also talked about how it has helped us as Absa Life Insurance Kenya.
There's a bit of maybe confusion in the audience. They want to understand what's the difference between assurance and insurance. As an expert, can you break that down for them?
For life, we say assurance. You cannot insure life, but for property, you can insure.
That's very helpful. Can you explain those kind of basic concepts in life assurance that can help someone quickly get a grasp on what exactly life assurance is all about? Term, life, endowment. You can explain some of those key terms.
Okay, I'll try to explain, maybe trying to use a layman's language. So when you talk about term, it just means that term. It means you're taking this product for a specific period. So if you take, for example, education policy, you can take it, let's say, for 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years, or all that. So you're taking that product that will mature within that period, and then you'll be able to get the benefit, either the maturity or in case of any eventuality happening, to be paid before that particular period of time. Education product is usually taken to cater for child education, where a parent may decide, okay, they have got a child who will be going maybe to high school or university, and they would like to have some financial assistance during the period that child goes to that particular school. So there are ways they can do it. They can say, okay, I would like to be receiving my payout maybe on a yearly basis for the next 8 years. During the previous 844 that's coming to an end, most of the parents were looking at the 4 years in high school, 4 years in university, and you want to have some payout that will help that child to go through that. And of course, we are saying, okay, if I'm the only breadwinner, in case of something happening to me, what will happen to my child? Can they be able to go through the education that I inspire them to go through? So that's education product, basically taken to help in terms of that. Of course, it has got maturity. So once it gets maturity, someone can decide to get lump sum or have that staggered payment. Endowment, also the same, only that in this case, it does not have that particular need for, let's say, education and all that. It's usually taken for investment. Let's say when you look at the life of an individual, looking at the number of years and all this kind of thing in the cycle, you can say, okay, by the time someone gets to the age 30, they would like maybe to have an investment, maybe to buy a car, or maybe to have an investment for the house. They want to have a nice wedding. So when they finish university and they get employed, they can decide, okay, I'm going to take maybe a 7-year or a less than or a 10-year product, so that I have got a target that by the age of 30, I want to do this kind of milestone within my life. Maybe, as I said already, something like that. So that one can also have that targeted. Others, they do it for maybe for the things like the kind of retirement as well, where someone will say, okay, I would want to take an endowment product so that I am able to save some money. By the time I'm getting maybe to 60, I'll have also another lump sum that will maybe help in terms of my pension and all that. So those are some of the product I've talked about in terms of also what we offer here. Of course, life assurance is big. It has got also the pension, it has got annuity. Some companies offer deposit administration. But for us in Absa Life, we have not yet gone to that space. It's a space that we shall be exploring probably the next 1 or 2 years to get into.
You talked about death and there's that fear. When someone takes a life insurance product, they fear that mentioning death is making it come closer or make it more of a reality. How do you assure clients that taking a life assurance product does not mean that you want to die, or at least someone is going to wish death on you soon?
That's one of the cultural issues I mentioned that you face, especially in the country like Kenya, where you don't want to talk about death as giving out your product. But it's a reality. It will come one point at a time. So what we normally do is that we look at it from another aspect or from another angle. In Kenya, people want to have a benefit. They want to enjoy their benefit. They don't want to be told, okay, to happen. They want to see the benefit I'm investing in or I'm buying, but what can I be able to see? So what we have done in order to probably make sure that at least people are able to also get a feel of the product. For our last expense product, for our Ultimate Protector, the one I talked about, Ultimate Protector, we have what we call cashback. So someone pays the premium, and after every 3 years, we pay back the 50% of the premium that was paid in first year. At least they're able to see, okay, I didn't have a claim, but at least I'm getting also a refund in terms of what I've been paying. So it doesn't just look like a sunk cost, that the money is just going to an insurance company and someone is not getting something back. When you look at the other product like education and endowment, we classify them that they have got a risk and investment component in it. So for those kind of products, what happens is that you are covering more than death. You are covering other benefits like the critical illnesses. You are also ensuring that the customer or the policyholder will also get a bonus or an interest when this product comes to maturity. So if you look at our product, and I'm happy if anyone would like to get into our website, they'll be able to see that or inquire. You'll be able to see that if you are buying a product, let's say of 5 million or 1 million, by the end of maturity, we do not give you just that 1 million, where it may become at about 1.4 million and all that. And because we are also giving a guaranteed return for some of these products that we have. So there are risk elements that you are covering. So you are covering things like the death, disability, critical illnesses, all those kind of things. But at the same time, you're also making sure that maturity benefits for that product is also attractive.
I have a couple of questions. So one, what about people who are struggling with unpredictable incomes because they're more freelance? They don't know when the next income is going to be like. What kind of solutions do you offer for those kind of people?
We have become very flexible. So what we have done is that we have expanded our offering for these kind of products that are also really selling in the Kenyan market. So when you look at education, for example, you may find someone maybe is in a business, they have gotten some good business. They are not sure that they will be able to get that money probably on a continuous basis. So for them, what we have done is to create flexibility in terms of the premium payment. So we have actually come up with a single premium product where someone can be able to say today, okay, I've got this amount and I want to take this product for the next 10 years. So you just pay once and then you're covered for the next 10 years. That's one of the way we have tried to simplify and make it affordable even to the people who have got those irregular incomes. There are others who have opted maybe for semi-annually. The others have gone quarterly. But there are those who prefer to do monthly, probably the people with monthly salaries and all those kind of things. And we also make sure that if say someone is paying on an annual basis and they find maybe whatever they have been paying, they are not able to continue, we also make it flexible. We try to make it even monthly so that at least they are able to continue paying for the product. One of the advantage we have with our product is that we also have a very good surrender. So we do not actually say because someone has paid and then it has not gone all the way to maturity, then they have lost all their money. There are those surrender benefits that someone can be able to say, okay, I failed. I'm not able to continue this product. I'm going to surrender. If someone is not able to surrender, they want to continue the product and they feel maybe they'll be able to get some more income in future. What they'll do is that we take it more of a kind of a paid-up policy and it can be reinstated. So someone can be able to say, okay, this is how much I have paid. I don't want to take this product now. I still want it to come at the 7th year. or 8th year when my child is going to school. So just keep it and then you pay it when it comes to that particular time. So we just trying to understand the customer needs and actually coming in and helping them. I will tell you what happened during COVID when a lot of people were affected. We actually came up with a premium holiday where we told our customers that if you're affected and your salary is affected, you do not have to pay a premium. We just need to show us the proof of that. And then we waived some months of premium for some of the customers until they were able to recover and then started continuing those payments. I think you have to work with your customer. You have to understand their needs. You have to walk the journey with them. And that's what we believe in Absa.
That actually really links up well to my next question, which is about the true test of an insurance company being how it supports policyholders in difficult times. So I think you say that in terms of giving a holiday in payments, what are some of the other ways you support and work with your customer to ensure that there's a smooth experience, given your experience across the African markets? And what are some of the things that you're bringing in to the customer that they're able to rely on you during difficult times?
Another area maybe I'll mention is where we have worked very well with the bank, especially for the people who take credit facilities from the bank, things like the loans and all that. There are those people who are employed, and when they take our product, we also have what we call retrenchment benefit, where if someone has taken maybe a loan facility from the bank and they get retrenched and they're able to prove that they are not being able to get the work, we actually pay the bank for up to 9 months installment. And that actually gives that person an ability to either adjust their life. If they had a property, maybe they can decide either to go for renting, or probably within those 9 months, maybe they'll be able to get a job somewhere else and then continue repaying the loan to the bank. So this is another area where we say, okay, we need to listen to our customer. We know they got this facility because they had a need, and how do we then come in and support them? We also work with a group of counselors and we do what we call trauma counseling. So we have this product that we offer that relate to funerals and all those kind of things. And what we do is that we work with these people. If the family have lost someone, we send that person there to go and talk to the family maybe for 1 or 2 occasions, and they can also be able to offer counseling to that family. And we are partnering with other businesses that are in Kenya that are also offering this product, where we are doing the underwriting, and they are saying this is one of the advantages that we have seen from you people in terms of how I'm able to reach out to the customer during the needs. How am I able to talk to them? How am I able to go and talk to the family, maybe offer counseling and all those kind of things? Those support, as I said, are very critical, especially in the life insurance. I mentioned earlier that it's very emotional sometimes, and you are just in trust, and that's what people are looking for.
And then in terms of when something happens, what's usually the procedure in terms of someone reaching out to the company and being told, okay, an event that I had assured for has happened? What's usually the process? How do you work with the customer?
So they work with the customer, of course, mentioned for those who buy product through our bank, through the branches, they're able to walk into any bank branch and they're able to actually get the forms for the claim. They're able to submit the documentation that's required just in case of death or something like that. And those documents, they will reach us within 1 day. And for us, there are several categories of benefit that we pay. Of course, there's the first one. If let's say someone has passed on, we shall pay immediate funeral expenses, which I think we have got some of the good turnaround times in terms of paying that direct to the family without it paying through the third parties and all that. And we have seen, we have paid some of this in about 6 hours, but our turnaround time should not be more than 48 hours, because that's the money maybe the family will be looking forward to start the process. So that's what we do. And then, of course, we provide our emails address. We also have a short code where people can actually be able to write to us, and then we'll be able to reach out to them. And then we offer the support in terms of what the documentation we shall be requiring and all those kind of things. So we make it very easy, and we also try now to get into an app which would help, especially people logging in online for some of those claims and submitting some of those, let's say, documentation, including if someone wants to change the benefit or they feel that maybe they want to do an amendment of the policy. We are now moving that into a digital space where someone can be able to do it in the comfort of their home.
I'll just shift gears a little bit. The investment component in assurance. I think a lot of people think of assurance as more protection oriented, but then there's also the financial planning aspect of it, the wealth transfer and wealth building aspect of it. Could you perhaps elaborate those components of the assurance products, which is a bit more prevalent than the insurance products?
So there are a few products maybe people may look at. Of course, I mentioned about annuity products that are being offered now to people who are retirees and all that when they want to buy maybe an annuity product. Of course, there's also another one called the deposit administration, where someone just put money and then they are getting more of a return. And then there are those ones I mentioned that have got both the risk and investment. So you are buying a product for life assurance, which is going to cater for the risk component. The risk component is any an eventuality happen to an individual, but then it also has got that investment element where the money that someone is putting in there will come back with a return. And then some of them are guaranteed, others have got what we call discretionary bonuses and all those kind of things. That means they fluctuate depending on the performance of the underlying investment. So these are some of the products that are there. So it's based on what an individual is looking for. And we always encourage that someone can sit down with a financial planner just to look at their needs and then be able to be told, okay, this is the kind of product that you need to get into. It really helps a lot.
Someone is asking what solutions you have for Chamas, I think. Table banking?
Yes, we have got few products that we have designed and we are working with Chamas and informal groups. One of them is where you have got Chama that does lending for the members. We have seen they combine and they take more of a group like kind of a product. Okay, where they set maybe an amount that can be paid to an individual in case someone maybe in that Chama passes on and maybe they had borrowed money from the Chama. So if they say they had borrowed about $500,000, then they take cover for each member for $500,000. And in case of any maybe an eventuality happen to that member, then the insurance company will pay for that. We also have now what we call an umbrella last expense. It's actually, I think, one of the best products that's selling in the country. And this one is now the Chama members, they take group funeral cover for themselves, their immediate family members, the parents, the parent-in-laws, and then we also extend to some level to the siblings or dependents other than the immediate family members. And they actually pay that through the Chama. So where the Chama will set aside maybe on monthly basis a certain amount, which can now come to the insurance. So we have had quite some groups that we are working with. I was surprised last time I had a group of almost close to about 10,000 members, where they say they actually would like us to develop for them such kind of a product. And we did that, and they are with us. We are also working with some of the circles in the country where you are actually providing that. So these are some of the products that we offer for the Chamas.
I have a question here about the assurance premiums that somebody is supposed to pay. They can vary widely. What are some of the factors that you put into consideration in that mix so you're able to establish how much someone is able to pay? And then do you also vary that so that someone can make more affordable options for people of lower income?
I mentioned one of the strengths that we have as Absa Life is when we are doing a product design, we look at the affordability of our customers. How can they afford that product? So for us, what we do is we work with an individual from how much they be able to afford, and then we give them the benefit that qualifies for that. So you find previously what used to happen for insurance companies is that they'll come and say, I'm giving you an insurance cover for, let's say, 1 million. And therefore now I start working backward in terms of the price. But I have already set the limit of 1 million. In our case, we do not set the limit. So it's your affordability. How much can you be able to save for you to get the amount of cover that you are looking for? And that has really helped us in terms of now getting to the low people with a bit of low income and all that. They're able to afford some kind of product that they can actually be able to pay comfortably without straining their wallet. And I'll just mention some that we do in Absa Life. There's something when we are getting or we onboard the customer, we do what we call financial need analysis. We sit with the customer, we look at the budget, and we try to do more financial planning. That way, we have been able actually to get a lot of customers now coming to our product and buying our product. So from the low all the way to the top, we have got customers with a very high sum assured because they are saying, okay, I'll be able to afford this because this is how much I'm actually willing to save on monthly basis to get my insurance product.
And perhaps some of the final questions is, now you can tell us a bit about yourself. When you are a CEO, what does a CEO of an assurance company actually do now? Because there's a need to be like a background perhaps in actuarial science and all.
Actually, my background is in accounting, and when I started in this financial service, I was more in asset management, doing
Oh,
those unit trust, pension fund management, and all that. So I got into life insurance just because I was working there, and then I thought, okay, there's a bit of interest in that. Of course, when you're working in the insurance industry, you work with quite a lot of people in terms of the professionals. So you have got the actuarial team, you have got the underwriters, you have got the claim assessors. So you and the finance people and all that. So you work with all these people. Of course, as you go up, you need to get to understand each and every area what they do and how they impact the entire organization, especially from the product, from the performance management, and how you report and numbers and all that kind of thing. So it's a teamwork. It's an area where we find a lot of professionals working as team and trying to actually come up with this kind of product that you always see at the end of the day.
very interesting. And then someone is asking if they want to be part of Absa Life as in terms of work and internships. You do offer those also.
Yeah, so we offer internship. We work with various institutions in Kenya where we offer a curious student, accounting student, and other students an opportunity to come and work in our office for a period maybe about 3 months or up to 6 months. So we do that. So we have those internship programs. We also have a very good mentorship and networking program within our space where for some of those curious students or the students coming from school, we take them through to understand their career aspiration and all that kind of thing. And you have seen some of them change and get into insurance. So all those opportunities are here. We have got about 87 employees, and I can tell you I've got more than 20 employees who started with us as interns, and they actually found home here.
So there are a lot of opportunities then within the community. Perhaps a word of advice to someone who wants to get started in terms of maybe they've heard your talk today, but then they're wondering, how do I get started? What would be your maybe few words of advice to that person?
When you talk about getting started, we are talking about two aspects. Maybe someone who wants to get an insurance product.
Yeah.
So I would say we are operating from all over the country. We are based in all the Absa Bank branches. So if you walk to any Absa Bank Kenya, any branch near you, you'll be able to meet a consultant there who will be able to take you through our product, and they also be able to give you more information about the insurance that you can be able to get from us. I always say that buying insurance is like fixing a leak in your roof. The longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. So if you want to start now, of course, the insurance also looks at the age. As people get to advanced stages and all those kind of things, some of these insurance products also become a bit expensive. So you can start now. And when you're buying insurance, don't think of cost, think of value. That's another advice I would give.
In terms of your outlook now for the company itself, it's 10 years now. You've been CEO, you said, since 2020, if I got that correctly. If you look forward 5 to 10 years from now, where do you want to see Absa Life? And in giving us the vision for that, you can also invite the audience to journey with you along. So your pitch to the audience and to us telling them where you want to be with the company.
As I said, we are now going to celebrate our 10th year anniversary this year, and I've invited the client. We have got some activities that we have lined up for this year. We'd like to actually talk to the customers. We'd like them to know more about us. We have not had a lot of advertisement, but we are still growing. But we shall be having some activities, a marathon and all that. In the next 10 years, we are looking at expanding our product bouquet, as of course with the way the landscape is changing. We are looking at other products that we can be able to bring to the market. So look out for new products coming into Kenya from Absa Life. And of course, we would like to expand to the region. We would like to ensure that we cover even other Kenyans who are in the region. We are doing that, but we feel that if we have got presence even within East Africa region, that will also help us. And we are also going to be very much into the digital space where we want to make insurance part of the life of individuals. So whenever they are doing their financial planning, they think about life insurance as also one of the items in their basket.
I think you have quite a lot of work to do to help Kenyans become a bit more comfortable in certain aspects, especially that bit that you emphasize a lot on death and how we're a bit fearful in terms of planning for that. But one key thing I took away from you is that it gets more expensive with age and with time. So I think 1 minute lost it's not good towards planning for life assurance generally. So at this point, I want to give you time to give your closing remarks.
Thanks, Eric, and thanks, participants. I will add with one quote that I got from Jack Ma, and he said that buying insurance cannot change your life, but prevent your lifestyle from being changed. So a newness, and he talked about a newness that time that can wipe an entire family saving that they have saved for decades by medical bills. So by buying a life insurance, you not turn bankrupt because of buying insurance, but you can cause your loved ones to turn bankrupt if you don't. That's a quote from Jack Ma. And thanks a lot, everyone. Let's journey this life insurance together. It's a very good product and you enjoy. And I also want to appreciate some of my partners who joined. I have got a very good financial doctor called Alfred Mandu from ISA. I've got a team from Zamara, team from Minet, and other people that I work with. I have seen those ones. So I just want to appreciate all of them. And also other directors I've seen, other colleagues from other companies. Thanks so much for joining and supporting. Have a nice evening.
Thank you so much for taking your time to come and share with us your wisdom and the experience from across the African markets and to tell us more about Absa Life Assurance. I'm hopeful that the audience learned a lot in the process. So hope to see you again soon. To our audience, thank you so much for joining us today on Mango Spaces.